So maybe you're searching for sanity in your routine. Maybe you're tired of your calendar controlling you and you want to learn how to control your calendar. You know, you really want to give every area of life the attention that it deserves, you know, whether it's your relationship with God, your relationship with your spouse, your parenting, the list goes on and on and on. Well, we want to tell you today that guess what? It's hard, but there is hope. His name is Jesus. But we want to help you today. We want to sit down and have a very, very practical conversation about how to really just manage the demands of life. So let's sit down, let's have that talk today in a very practical way as we talk about practical Christian living. Let's do this.
Before we get started, we want to just encourage you to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't ever miss one of our videos on practical Christian living. Also, we would love to communicate with you, so comment down below if you have any questions and we'll hit you back, all right?
So we talk about living a balanced life, and you know, this is kind of an interesting term because for years, you know, I had an idea of what I thought it meant to live a balanced life. I thought that it meant that I could have a perfect life, that where I had enough time for everything that was really important for every area of life, whether it was my relationship with God, my relationship with others, you know, taking care of my body, time management, you know, the way I manage my finances, my mind, you know, intellectually, my ministry. And so I had, you know, I kind of, if you're like me, you compartmentalize all these things in your mind. And I think for all of us, we have this desire that we want it all to work together, and we have a perfect amount of time to be able to not necessarily master, but give our best in every area of life. But we found very quickly as young believers that that's practically impossible. It just
it's completely
doesn't,
impossible.
because there's this thing that we all live within, and it's called life. And life is so unpredictable.
Right. But, you know, here's what I want you to understand, because there's hope, and we are going to talk about balance. But, you know, for years and years, we tried to find balance. I mean, we even taught on it, and we always felt like failures because we were like, why can't we not get this right? I mean, there's really 7 areas of your life that we feel like we need, yes, we need to give attention to, that we need to balance. And so we were always striving for that, always, honestly, frustrated because we were coming up short. But what we found is that you may not have perfect balance, but you can find rhythms for each season. And that's really what we're going to talk about, okay? You have to adapt, right? You have to adapt your wardrobe, your schedules, everything. I mean, you know, when the seasons change and the time changes and it gets dark earlier, all of that affects every part of your life, okay? So today we're going to give you 5 things that we have found that help us to have that rhythm for each season, okay? Yeah. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about is have a family calendar. So very practical. That's what I want to do for you today, okay? Have a family calendar. And I'm just going to pop one up here. So this is mine. I love it. One of my children got me this one for Christmas, which has got this pretty leather case. But I love my calendar, and you can see all the colors. But here's what I want you to understand is what you calendar is what's going to happen, okay? So what actually hits the calendar, we are going to do, right? Unless it gets something it snows out or something.
Something happens to compete with that.
Right. So when we start our calendar, what we always start with is God first. Non-negotiables. Hit the calendar first. What does that look like for us, Brad? What is the God first non-negotiables?
So as a family, it means that every time the church doors are open, that's where we are.
Right.
As a church, as a family.
So our kids never had to wonder. We never had to wonder. Sundays and Wednesdays.
And that's our church has church services on Sundays, and we have a Wednesday night midweek. So for us, it was those 2 days.
So Sundays and Wednesdays hit the calendar first. We know what we're doing during those blocks of time. And it wasn't even just attending, but it's also serving. Serving and being a part of the family of God and being involved. And not just because we're pastors, because I can see you being like, well, yeah, that's your job. No, long before we were pastors, that was still a part of what we did.
And that's how we met, really, is we were serving. We were in Bible college together.
Yeah.
And
we were serving in a church.
What we did. Yeah.
Right. So then the next thing is family. Okay, so the next thing that hits your calendar is what are the absolutes that our family is involved in that we have to put on the calendar. So what does that look like? It looks like if you're married, a date night, okay? And you're like, oh, give me a break. Like, I don't have time for that. Well, if you want to stay married, right? Then a date night at least once a month. But honestly,
at least once a month. I don't even think that's good.
I don't think that's good.
Honestly,
enough.
I think you ought to carve out time every week.
Yes.
But I can just hear the good old boy right now. Maybe this is you. He's saying, why on earth would I date this woman? I put a ring on her finger. Wasn't that enough?
No, it's not
And
enough,
the answer
actually.
is no.
No.
It's not enough.
If you were in love, you want to stay in love. So the first thing, find that on there. But also the things that you have to put on is whatever your kids are involved in. Okay, we have 4. So we had a rule in our house that they were choosing one sport at a time. And when you have 4 kids all playing sports together, that is a lot of commitments on our calendar.
Yeah.
And so you put God first, you calendar those, we're going to church on these days, our kids' events are on these days, our date night is on this day. And then you look at it and you make sure in that calendar that you have some downtime. And I'll be honest.
That's so important.
For us, it is probably one night a week. That's about it. And then Sunday afternoons, okay? Unless we have a leaders meeting. It happens like once a month. But other than that, for us, it's generally one night a week. And because we are all about God first, family, and then others, there's lots of times where people will invite us to do something.
Yeah.
And because that night is the only night we would have home, the answer is always no.
That time is sacred.
Because, and here's why. If you don't have, when you're trying to find a healthy rhythm, okay, not perfect balance, but a healthy rhythm, okay, you need your mind, your body, your spirit, all of it to be able to find that rhythm. And if you are going non-stop, constantly running like a hamster on a wheel, what's going to happen is you can do it for about 2 weeks. You can even push and do it about 3, but I don't really want to be around you, okay? Because I'll be really honest. That is not how God made us. The reason you have to sleep at night and you can go, and then you can't hardly keep your eyes open is because God made our bodies with this rhythm, with this cycle, that you can go so many hours of working hard and thinking and having clarity and creativity.
And then it gets dark.
And then it gets
dark.
dark.
Your body gets tired.
Exactly. And literally, He created us to have that rhythm of
time
rest.
To slow down, time to rest.
So that first thing is find the family calendar. And just a healthy tip, this is just me. I love highlighters. Shut your mouth, okay? I love highlighters. And so everything is highlighted based on who it is or what it is.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Does it not help?
Yeah, it helps you to keep us
Exactly. But everything has colors, not just because I just love colors, but really at first glance, I know yellow is church. So when I see a yellow, that's like we're going to be at church. If it's pink, it's my daughters. They're seniors in high school. They play basketball. That's something going on with them. When Ty was in school, it's green. Like, AJ rodeos, it's orange. So we've got colors. At a glance, I can see them. I know where we're at with the family. All right. Number 2.
What we're talking about now is planning the week before it ever starts.
Yes.
And I love this phrase. Actually, I think got it from Bill Phillips, Body for Life. Read that book years ago. Such a cool book. And he said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now, he may not even be the person that actually said that, but I remember it was in his book. But it's such a great mantra to live by. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, because it's so incredibly true. So what we do every week is we carve out time. It doesn't have to take an exorbitant amount of time.
It doesn't take very long at all.
Enough time to be able to just kind of plot out the important things for that week, to be able to communicate what does the week look like.
Well, it's really simple, because if you have your family calendar, then all you're really doing is like on Sunday night, before you go to bed, carving out for me, it might even be 10 minutes, right? Might even be 5. I open up the calendar, I look at it so that we, at a glance, we know what that night off is, okay? And then I just communicate that to everybody. It's like, hey, this is what this week looks like. It's going to be kind of full.
Heads up. Tuesday, the girls have a game.
Or they have a tournament all weekend long.
Or boom, boom, boom. 3 nights of the week, we're going to be gone.
Yes. Right. And so it's easy. Plan the week in advance before it gets started, okay? Then number 3, this is so important. Have a daily schedule. Have a daily schedule. I don't care how you do it. You can type it out. You can just pencil it out on
your phone.
Paper. For us, I'll just show you. And, again, I'm a little bit crazier than everybody. But, this is just our schedule. And it's every single day. And it starts, it's got a timeline. So it's okay, we know our morning routine. That alarm's going off at 4:45, right?
Yeah.
We have 30 minutes to get ourselves out the door, and that is, I'm going to get into my word. I'm reading a devotion before I ever walk out of the house, okay? Then we're headed to the gym. After we're done with the gym, shower, grab breakfast, head out the door. We are then spending time, for us personally, we still get to the office early. So 7 to 7:30, then we're studying. But then every part of our day is scheduled. We know what the day looks like, and then the evening even, we have a plan for it. And I'm not talking about scheduling every minute to where you're like, oh my gosh.
No, in fact, I would tell you don't schedule every minute, because we've tried that so many times and it just doesn't work.
No.
Because again, it's called life, and it's so unpredictable.
Yes.
There's gonna be an emergency. There's gonna be an urgent, unexpected thing that happens.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna need your help or your time.
Yes.
And so life can be so shaky.
It's
so you
constantly,
just can't do that.
It's constantly adapting.
Yeah.
And for instance,
Every day.
if my kid calls, unless I absolutely can't take the call, I always pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And on days that somebody is off work or out of school, that is a lot of calls in one day,
Yes, it
or
is.
them walking through the office door.
Yeah.
But guess what's most important after my relationship with Jesus? It's my family.
And you just said it. It's making time for the things that are most important. That's what
Yes.
a daily schedule looks like, is blocking out
Yes.
those things that are most important. And I'll just say, we've kind of touched on this, but we can't overemphasize how important it is to seek the face of God before you see the face of people.
Yeah.
Right? And what we're really saying is, you're going to have all day to interact with people and solve problems
absolutely.
and do what you need to do. But don't allow people to bombard that precious time that you have with Jesus and with His Holy Spirit each and every morning. I don't care. You might travel on the road. You might, get up at 2 a.m. and go to work. Whatever it is, whatever that looks like. We've said this so many times. We make our own schedule.
Yeah.
We have the same 24 hours in every day. And
Everybody
if you're frustrated with your schedule, you might be frustrated with yourself. I've had to tell myself I'm in control, so I can stop this chaos by simply just saying, okay, we need to this isn't working. So in order for things to change, I'm going to have to change. But one of the most important things you can do is make time for Jesus. First thing, carve out time to be in His Word, to pray, to get in His presence, because that is the foundation of everything. You can see it in Matthew 6 and 33, and it's seek first the kingdom of heaven and His righteousness, and all these other things will be added to your life.
Yeah. And then number 4 is really, really important, and that is you've got to communicate the plan the night before.
This one's so important.
This one, you can do all the other ones.
Yeah.
And if you fail the night before to say, hey, tomorrow, this is what tomorrow's schedule looks like. Everybody, let's talk about it for just 2 seconds before we go to bed, so we know what time to set the alarm for.
Yep.
So many times in our life, there was so much frustration as a married couple because I knew in my mind what the plan was.
You knew what the plan was.
You were asleep.
I had not arrived to the bridge yet.
Oh my gosh. The alarm is going off. You're hitting snooze, or I'm getting up.
What is the problem?
And I'm angry.
God created rest.
Let's
Leave
just
me
be
alone.
honest. I'm getting angry now. No, I'm just kidding. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And so we realized, okay.
We got to communicate the night before. The other day, we have every so often, like every other week, we do meetings all day long. Like we carve out time to meet with every leader that's closest to us, and we do these meetings literally like back to back.
We call them one-on-ones.
Call them
They happen
one-on-ones,
every week.
and we do them all day long. Sometimes I forget that day is coming, and there have been times in the past where I did not, get with you. We did not communicate that it was a one-on-one day the next day, and if I don't know that the night before, I won't pack a lunch, right?
Which means you're not eating.
Which means I'm not eating lunch because we're going boom, 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 boom.
Which
the
means
only way
you're very cranky.
I'm very cranky.
Come 1 o'clock.
If come 1 o'clock, if I don't. So it's really important to communicate the night before, because on those days,
Yes.
I have gone without lunch, and if you know me, like unless I'm fasting, like I have to have my food, and so and we're very disciplined about our nutrition and all that. So there have been times that I literally missed lunch because we did not communicate the night before, so I did not pack my lunch, and it affected me the next day.
Right. And finally, the last thing, and this is really, really important with every season, is evaluate and adjust
continually.
Well, I was going to say accordingly, but continually works too.
Better,
okay.
Every single day.
Evaluate and adjust continually. And this is so important because with every new season, what you're going to find is this. There's been times, and I'll just kind of like throw us under the bus a little bit. In our mind, we're like, you know what? Let's get up at 4 a.m. Because we just, we want to do so much. Like, let's get up at 4 a.m. Let's go to the gym. Then let's hit all those things. And we knocked it out of the park for like 3 days. And then on that third day, by the afternoon,
oh my God!
Like, I am dying right now. I'm so tired. I have no ability to creatively think. I can't solve problems. I'm struggling. You're like asleep at your desk. We're like, whatever. So you have to be realistic. So we try things, and then we evaluate
what works and what doesn't.
We're like, hey, 4:45 really for us. It works.
It works.
We can manage that most of the time, but we have found that we can do 3:30 on Sunday. We can do 4 a.m. once a week.
We can do 3:30 a.m. once a week.
But we can't do it every day unless we're going to back up our time that we go to bed at night, and that's not possible.
We don't do that because we have kids that are in the house, and that would be sacrificing our time with them, and that's more important.
Yes. So I'm just going to hit these one last time. I really want to help you because this changed our life. So 1, have a family calendar. 2, plan the week before it starts. Little bit of window, Sunday night. Number 3, have a daily schedule. Number 4, communicate the plan the night before. And number 5, evaluate and adjust continually. We hope this helps. We'll see you guys next time.